Gone are the days when Apple's healthcare only consisted of telling people their heartbeat and counting their daily steps. Because healthcare is the single largest industry in America, with more than $3 trillion being spent on it annually, it makes sense for a tech giant like Apple to officially enter the healthcare race. In this video, we're going to give you a roundup of how Apple is planning on officially taking on the healthcare industry. Before we continue, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications. Let's begin. Apple's big move into healthcare started when the company launched the 2018 version of the Apple Watch with an ECG feature that could be used through the simple press of a button on the phone. This idea proved to be pretty revolutionary. But what the world didn't know was how Apple was going to take it forward. In 2019, the company took the Apple Watch a step further and announced that they would be launching 3 unprecedented medical studies that would allow Apple Watch users to contribute to the next generation of medical research and development. Not just that, but Apple also announced that it would be partnering with the National Institutes of Health, the American Heart Association, Harvard University's T.H. Chan School of Public Health and Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, and the University of Michigan for this research, something that no other tech company has ever even thought of. At the same time, the company also upgraded its health app so that it would help users keep track of their medical records, store, and share them. And this is all done through their phone and in collaboration with certain health providers. In turn, the participating providers can send lab test results, medication regimen, and other data directly to the patient's iPhone, making the process a whole lot smoother than waiting your turn at the hospital. Providers like Johns Hopkins and Cedars-Sinai have already come on board with this initiative, along with 37 other names, which means that Apple is definitely on the right track when it comes to forming useful partnerships. But that's not all. As we moved into 2020, the company had more reason to be taking steps towards healthcare. In the 2020 launch event, the Apple Watch took all the spotlight. This event was exactly where Apple let people know that healthcare was going to be a serious segment in the company from now on, and the Apple Watch was the center of it all. The company talked about how the Apple Watch was previously designed to be a fun device. It had great potential to keep people healthy and in some cases even save lives. Apple aimed to make a huge difference in the health industry, aiming to provide doctors and healthcare workers with a device that would revolutionize the way they worked and dealt with patients. Experts believe that the Apple Watch is most helpful when it comes to tracking exercise and incorporating data from existing blood sugar tracking devices. At the 2020 launch, the Apple Watch 6 was unveiled and it featured pulse oximeter, a sensor which can detect blood oxygen levels. Last year, Apple partnered with giant healthcare companies like Johnson & Johnson to increase the effectiveness of its digital clinical tools. The company studied the impact of its watch on cardiovascular outcomes in Medicare patients along with testing an asthma management program using their oximeter function. With this respiratory health feature, along with all the research that Apple has been conducting, it looks like the company is particularly interested in respiratory health management. This might even lead to the acquisition of a respiratory health startup for Apple to stay ahead of the game. With digital innovations like these, Apple is completely changing the way people view healthcare and making it accessible to more and more people around the world. All of this shows just how far Apple is willing to go to prove their commitment and credibility in the healthcare industry, specifically because it's one of the very first tech enterprises that are attempting to make clinical breakthroughs. And if you thought that was it, you'll be surprised to know that Apple has also been quick enough to roll out a bunch of health initiatives this year, which again have proved that the company was ready to go the extra mile to prove itself as a reliable name in healthcare. These initiatives included an online screening platform developed in collaboration with the Centers for Disease Control. Apple also worked with Stanford to come up with an app that would easily connect patients with first responders, combining technology and healthcare to come up with tools that would be useful not just to patients, but also to everyone involved in health and medicine research. This gave Apple the perfect opportunity to prove that combining technology with healthcare was probably the answer to most, if not all, of our problems. The 2020 launch also included an upgraded version of the company's digital health kit, with features like electrocardiogram reading, along with a bunch of new features to integrate first- and third-party health data to help people keep track of everything on one app. Apple went on to announce its partners like Johns Hopkins and already started allowing chronically ill patients to use these functions so that the hospital could remotely track and manage their symptoms, a tool that's also proven to be quite revolutionary in current times. But while Apple has done all of that, the question on everyone's mind is, does the company plan on taking its healthcare initiatives any further? Or is this all? The answer to that is pretty obvious. Apple is definitely predicted to make some major moves in the future that will establish the company as a legitimate partner to many hospitals, research centers, and the medical industry in general. Moving forward, Apple plans on primarily using the Apple Watch for most of its healthcare initiatives. But in addition to that, because so many people use the Apple Health app regularly, the company is working towards recruiting patients rapidly and at a large scale for its medical studies, lowering research costs significantly for pharmaceutical companies, providers, and medical device suppliers. What's more is that according to Apple's CEO Tim Cook, the company wasn't planning on making any money from these studies. The only reason behind the launch of ResearchKit was the fact that the company wanted to use their technology to influence and contribute to the healthcare industry, so all of these services come at absolutely no cost to Apple users. And to top all that off, perhaps the most serious move that Apple has made so far in its healthcare journey is the fact that they've partnered with United Health to offer subscription services that help reduce the costs of health insurance. Not only is Apple not charging money for their health tools, but the company is also figuring out ways to make healthcare cheaper. In December 2020, United Health offered its members a 6-month subscription to Apple Fitness Plus, along with an Apple Watch. All of this was absolutely free if you were enrolled with United Health. After the trial period, members would be able to apply for program incentives to cover the cost of an Apple Fitness Plus subscription and the watch, showing how the company plans on using the Apple Watch to form strategic partnerships with big names in healthcare. But of course, the company doesn't just extend its health services and tools to people on the outside. Internally, Apple's California-based employees can use a healthcare system known as AC Wellness. This includes a system of primary care clinics for all employees. While the program is still in its inception, Apple is reportedly forming a team of highly qualified doctors and health coaches to create a program that will promote health and wellness within its employees and in the offices. This primary care group is run by a clinical staff that is completely independent from Apple and only caters to Apple employees in Santa Clara County with 2 clinics. However, the company does plan on extending this program all over the USA and maybe even internationally. As far as expert opinions go, some doctors are in favor of Apple's leap into healthcare, while many are still a little skeptical. However, it's important to know that the company's healthcare tools are still at their earliest stages, which means that there is tons more room for growth. While focusing on preventative health, if Apple introduces more accurate sensors, including non-invasive glucose or blood sugar monitoring, or a blood pressure monitor, they just might be able to reach the wider market. At the end of the day, it's pretty obvious that Apple has definitely transformed the healthcare industry in the span of just a couple of years. With the kind of initiatives that the tech giant has taken, one thing's for sure: Apple is well on its way to build a digital health ecosystem that will completely revolutionize healthcare.